We're doing it. Okay, wait one sec.
90?
I think we're live. Guys, we're live right now.
Sweet.
Okay, Ruben,
Thank
we're
you.
live. We're there. Trust me, we're live.
Okay.
We're live, but we just don't know it yet.
That's right. So, welcome everyone to the Rocky Series podcast, Going the Distance. I am your host, Ryan, and my other host, who's with me as much as I want him with me, which is a lot of the time, my brother, Ruben.
Hey.
It's good to have you here, Ruben.
Oh, thank you.
And as you remember, Ruben, we just recorded our 100th episode.
100. This is 101.
This is 101.
They
Absolutely.
said it couldn't be done.
And with us today, we have a very special guest. This is Andrew. And Ruben, why don't you introduce Andrew? Then Andrew, why don't you tell us why you're even here?
Sure. This is Andrew.
Hi.
So Andrew's a customer of mine, and somehow Rocky got brought up. I forget why or how.
Yeah,
But you're like, there's a Rocky podcast? And then you said, well, a lot of people say about me, you're my spirit animal. And then you walked into my life. I'm like, I wonder if you'll ever come back. And you did. And you said, I should be on a Rocky podcast. And then we were talking Rocky 5, and yeah.
bada boom, bada bing, and I'm sitting next to you guys.
Yes.
It's amazing. I honestly, I can't remember what the topic was that brought that up. I think it was just sort of like really far out in left field, and I didn't think that you were serious. I thought that you were being facetious, because many people, they go, oh yeah, Rocky, like, ah ha ha.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's this guy talking about? Is he for real? And I really was like, this guy needs to be my new best friend.
Uh-huh.
Like, who
Sure.
besides myself would be insane enough to do a Rocky podcast? And I'm insane enough. I'm just not smart enough. You guys have.
Well, I'm not
much
smart
more
enough either.
brains.
It was my brother's idea. He's the one that set this all up.
Yeah,
So kudos
So
to
Ryan's
to
smart,
Ryan.
Ruben questionable.
I'm just along
I'm
for the ride.
definitely not. I'm just tagging along for the ride. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here with a bunch of other Rocky nerds, so that we can nerd out at the top of our lungs.
Well, it's really cool because we haven't had a guest host with us live
No, this is the first time.
since ever. So this is
Yeah.
really a special occasion. We've done a few recordings. We did one with Dan way ago. But this is like the first live recording that we've done with an actual guest and a local guest. So if this works out, if you do a good job, and I need a fill-in guest host, so this is like
Pressure's on.
Yeah, this is like a trial period. So this is good.
Ryan's already excited to have somebody to fill in for me.
What's really cool is like I had no idea that this was 101. It's like this is like turning the page.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here for 101.
The odometer has flipped
New
over.
one.
Yes.
So for me, this is one.
That is. Hey,
Hopefully of many.
So Rocky 5 came out in 1990.
90? Was it 90?
1990. Yeah.
So
okay.
you're wrong.
So it was my 12th birthday then.
My 13th.
It was your
birthday.
13th birthday.
Yeah.
And
So
I
we're
saw
okay.
it when I was 15. What,
Yeah.
what month did it come out?
November.
Yeah, so I was just turned 15.
It came out on what day?
November 16th. That was my birthday.
Oh,
and I
wow.
remember.
And then I saw it for my birthday party, November, whatever, 27th at the end of the month. And me and my friends were the only people in the theater.
Yeah, when I saw
That's a vast difference between Rocky 4 and Rocky 5.
Do you have that inflation count?
What was the amount Rocky 5 grossed?
120. So in 1990, Rocky 5, though it was considered by many at the time and maybe still today to be kind of a flop and not well liked amongst a lot of moviegoers and Rocky fans, it was made for 42 million back then money and made 120 million back then money. So that's almost 3 times the profit. So it wasn't a box office failure by any stretch of the imagination. It made good money. So in today's money,
$230 million.
that is a good. That's just domestic gross, I think. So that's not a bad draw.
That's not even all their merchandise. The lunch boxes, you know, the Rocky popsicles.
Yeah,
The soundtrack. The soundtrack
Which
was
we
epic.
listened to all the way here.
Yeah.
the Rocky 5 soundtrack.
Well, I had the Spotify's Rocky workout motivation list going, so we had like a menagerie of different Rocky themed musics and whatnot. So getting into the spirit.
Hey, Andrew, we got Trisha Morrison is watching. Tommy Gunn's
Widow.
widow.
No kidding!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hi. Hey, how's it going? Really sorry. He was a really great fighter. I was a really big fan of him. Really, really big fan. He was awesome. He had an insanely deadly left hook. He was like noted for that in the history books.
So Andrew, unlike myself, is a boxing fan of the actual boxing. I'm just a movie fan.
I didn't know. Okay, cool.
Big boxing fan. Big
Nice.
time.
That's really well. Good. That's awesome. Yeah, and unfortunately, in today's episode, I don't think we're getting to Tommy's part. We're not going to probably get that far, but that's awesome. And I know you're new to our show. I think you're. Have you even heard any of our episodes?
I've heard one episode.
Okay, that's fine because
You're able to stop there, right?
yeah.
Well, this is
Such.
I'm so random with like where my interests are, and so I have like I listened to your podcast one night when I was going to sleep. That's usually when I listen to my podcasts and whatnot. But I have like so many different interests.
Sure.
So I listen to this.
You don't
I
need to
listen
make
that.
excuses.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just saying you're probably the first guest host that we've had that has listened the least. So, and you're live with us. So this is, this is really special for you. You have to understand how special this is for you.
Oh, you have no idea. I'm so
Okay.
pumped right now to be here.
All right, awesome. Okay, so it made $230 million in today's ticket sales. So definitely not a box office bomb.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. Well, Ruben, you have a theory that success of a sequel often depends on the previous movie's success.
Yeah.
So I think this movie, Rocky IV was such an exciting, fun movie that a lot of people were probably anticipating something along the line of a Rocky IV. And I think they found, obviously, that Rocky V was a different film.
It's being judged based on Rocky IV,
Right.
not on a standalone.
That's right. When you saw Rocky V originally, what was your feeling when you left the theater as a teenager? Do you remember how you felt?
I really loved Rocky V. I remember, I thought that as a true fan, at that time, I just loved Rocky and the drama and now looking back on it, the formula really drew me in. And Sly is known for his movie formula, and in Rocky V, he kind of deviated from that a little bit.
Okay, in what way?
Well, I think that what it was, the big thing, of course, is there's always the protagonist and the antagonist in that one there, and it was easy for him to go up and fight the antagonist. But that one there was a whole bunch of conflict involved there. Tommy became the antagonist, but it was really George Washington Duke that was the antagonist. But at the same time, Rocky's situation was somewhat of an antagonist in that movie, where we all got to know and love Rocky, that he was able to overcome all the odds and tackle all these monsters. And then all of a sudden he comes back from like the most epic monster he's ever faced, and then he's crushed back down to earth again, and he's got to pick up the pieces. And I think that was like something that really kind of it was consistent with the first Rocky.
Okay.
Right? And so I think people were kind of like, what? No, I don't want any sadness. Like I want Stallone to kill and crush and
kick butt. We just saw him in Rambo.
Yeah.
We saw him in.
And so this one was a little bit more like, I think it was introspective for Rocky because he had his own son in the movie,
right?
And then there was a huge portion of that in the story where he was taking on the role of the trainer, like Mickey, right? But he was missing out completely on his own son in that, the conflict between that. So I think it was just like, I think it was a complicated story, and there was a lot of subcontext in there. And for me, I loved it because I felt like I had a relationship with Rocky.
Okay.
And so I really felt connected to that story, and I felt that was a great continuation of the story. It was exactly where it needed to be,
right?
In my personal opinion.
And you felt that way at 13?
I did. I loved. I mean, like now I'm looking back at it.
Sure.
But when I was like 12, I was like, yeah, like it was so good. I was totally into it.
My initial reaction to Rocky V, I was not much older. I was 15, just turned 15, saw it in the theater, and much like Ruben, when I saw it in the theater, I remember feeling kind of bummed that the theater was empty. So despite its box office success, I guess the showing, and I saw it here in Victoria, I remember feeling kind of bummed that there was not a lot of people in the theater, and I was like, why, where is everybody? But that being said, and we're going to get to this, my overall criticism of this film is the very end with the street fight. I feel like the audience who have seen Rocky V and have any kind of opinion on it, it seems to be they're divided on the street fight. There's the camp that believes it should have ended in the ring somehow, and there's the camp that believes that the street fight was unique and different, thus it made the movie better. But when I saw this at 15, I did leave the theater disappointed that this ended in the street. Now, I think over time I've softened on that, and we're going to be talking about that 20 episodes from now. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but I've softened on it because we have part 6. See, I didn't know when I saw part 5, and we thought when we saw part 5 that this was it.
That was it.
This was the final,
Sure.
the final bell. It was touted as the last Rocky. As we know, Rocky was supposed to die. It was written that way. I don't know if you knew that. Rocky was supposed to die. Stallone had written that Rocky died. He died in the ambulance ride after the street fight in Adrian's arms. And that was the end of Rocky 5, that he was dead. And the studio says, you don't kill James Bond, you don't kill Batman, you don't kill Rocky. So he wasn't allowed to kill him.
Oh, interesting.
So as
that might explain...
He'll never die on screen.
Creed 2.
That might explain Creed 2.
Have you seen Creed 2?
I'm waiting.
Okay, well, won't say any spoilers.
Have you seen
Okay.
Creed?
I've seen Creed like 17 times.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of watching, we got Lee Berkowitz. He says he deletes parts of Rocky 5.
Okay. Explain, Lee. Explain.
Yeah, I want to...
Okay, so at the end of the day, I think as we go through and break down Rocky 5 this is our season 5 opener, by the way.
Yeah.
I think season 5 is going to be interesting. I think there might be scenes that will be even sillier today in 2019, and there might be scenes that are even better now, and it might be just interesting to see how we feel about this film so many years later. Lastly, we'll go into it. So we're just going to start the film. Enjoy us talking
Get
about
some
the film.
popcorn.
Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go.
What theaters did you guys see the Rocky 5 in?
University Heights.
Me too.
I think I was University Heights as well.
We should have all gone together.
Did you say you saw it in November?
I saw it when it opened on the 16th.
Yeah, we might have been in the same theater together.
Yeah.
Funny
Wow.
enough.
There wasn't a lot of people there.
This is always the best part.
Yeah, well, keep talking.
Oh, yeah, it's just it gets you pumped, gets you primed, gets you ready.
So that's a great little opening shot there. I love the Rocky scroll coming across.
Sure.
We got Drago and Sly, Drago and Rocky. Look, as you know, we'll call Sylvester Stallone Rocky and Sylvester Stallone interchangeably throughout this podcast. So I love this. We have Sly and Drago going face to face, and I remember sitting in the theaters right away as these montages at the beginning of the film do. It draws you in.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm excited right now. I'm already excited about
I remember being confused a little bit.
Okay.
Of just, what's Drago doing here?
Oh. So we're getting the classic recap of what happened in the events in Rocky 4. We'll just turn on the volume. We don't need to... We know what happens here. So now we got the credits. So already we're seeing kind of a different build-up here. You know, we've got the montage, the music, and we're seeing the actors' names right here in the credits. So that's kind of cool.
Yep. The formula for it was basically 2, 3, and 4, where they had the final round of the match.
That's right.
Was where they started the movie off with the Rocky banner coming along, and this one here was just like a lot more involved, right? Because he just took such a beating in this one. I think they had to remind everyone what he had gone through to get everyone back on board with what was about to happen, right?
That's good. That's a good point. And right there, we just missed it. Let's go back. We see Ann Burgess Meredith. Now, remember when I saw that? Watch here, the credit. Of course, we all know who Burgess Meredith is. And I remember we're like...
He's the Penguin.
He's the Penguin.
Why is the Penguin...
That's right. Maybe the Penguin has a...
Batman.
The Penguin has a cameo. So what I remember being 15 and seeing this, and this was before spoilers on the internet. This was before anything like that.
It was pure.
It was pure. And I remember thinking, whoa. And I assumed it was a flashback, but I remember feeling like very excited by the fact that we'd see some sort of Burgess Meredith scene. And I can't wait to talk about that scene. It's later in the film, of course.
Is actually why I brought you in today.
Yeah, we were talking about that scene specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Go ahead. Or you have to come back another time.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene specifically. Yeah, there's like some interesting history to that one specifically. Is because I'm a fight fan. I know lots about boxing, and I'm a real big fan of Mike Tyson. And his trainer was Cus D'Amato, and it was a very unique relationship. And there's an interview with Cus and Mike when Mike was like 15 years old. It's in the early 80s. I think it's 83 or something like that. And Stallone literally takes that interview. I have no knowledge of whether or not this is true or not.
Sure.
But I've seen this interview.
Yeah.
And Cus D'Amato is saying the exact same things that Sly wrote for Mickey in the flashback at Mighty Mick's gym.
Okay.
Right?
I
And
think
so-
I've heard that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's talking about how, like, if it wasn't for you, I'd probably be dead. You give me motivation. I want to see you do good. And you go and you see this interview, and it's a huge interview, but there's a moment where Cuss stops and says, if it wasn't for Mike right now, I would be dead. He gives me motivation I want to see him do good. And so we were talking about that, and that was kind of like what brought it up, and Ruben was like, hey, do you want to come to the podcast? And I was like, yes, I do. Do you remember that moment in Step Brothers where they said, do you want to do... did we just become best friends? Yes. Do you want to do karate in the garage? Yep. I was like, I felt that right at that moment. I was like, I'm going to do this podcast.
That's awesome.
My life is officially began.
All right. Well, so far you're passing the test as a future guest host. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right, here we go. So Burgess Meredith is going to have a scene in this film. I'm very excited. It's hard not just to watch this. Yeah, it's amazing the punishment that Rocky takes with this montage here. And it says there, music by Bill Conti. As we know, Bill didn't do part 4. It was Vince DiCola. And side note, I interviewed Vince DiCola. So there's an episode to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that briefly there. Your brother was saying that.
I think our mom had the same suit jacket.
With the shoulder
shoulder
pads?
pads, oh, yeah,
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 my
shoulder
mom had
pads.
those
I'd
as
always
well.
squeeze them and go, you in football?
And I always ask my mom, you been working out? And then she would slap me.
So we're going to talk about this coming up here, but I'll save it. You don't need to remind me, but we're going to be talking about the timeline issue here that happens very quickly. Classic line, hit the one in the middle. It's hard not to just watch, eh?
Yeah.
Well, there's not really much more to say about this that we didn't just say like 3 episodes ago.
That's true.
It's just the there's the hit.
Oh.
There's the hit that is going to
I
haunt
love
Rock-
this part. I
Yeah.
love this part.
Now watch this. You've probably seen this part. Watch these two fight back there. Look at that. I love that fighting back there.
Yeah, no, Duke, he's for real, man. I always liked him.
Bud says, yo, Rocky. Yo, Bud.
Yo, bud. Our faithful listeners are showing up. All right, so Rocky wins. He's done the impossible. He's ended the Cold War. There's the American flag. Thankfully, we were spared.
The speech.
Yeah, I was just going to say there. It's directed by John G. Avildsen, and as you know, John G. Avildsen directed part 1. So we've got him back for part 5. Sylvester Stallone directed parts 2, 3, and 4 up to this point. So the reins were handed back to John. And my theory is that they were trying to get back to the roots of Rocky 1 and 2.
Which you were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Sly, the studio, I think they all recognize as successful and as fun as parts 3 and 4 were, they kind of got a little bit off track of what the films were originally designed to be. Because even now in parts 6 and then Creed 1 and 2, they've never gone back to the ways of parts 3 and 4.
No.
So parts 3 and 4, though, like I say, they're fun, they're exciting, they're not boring in any way, stretch of the imagination. They're not quite the same feeling as the films 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
So say what you want about part 5. It did what it wanted to do, was to bring the film back to its roots. And it actually goes, we'll see this coming up soon, but that song Take You Back, it's the R&B version coming up.
Yeah.
But that's why they did that song, I think. Is the idea was to take the audience back.
Totally.
Take you back.
No, totally.
Now, I'm kind of curious between Rocky and Rocky 4 here. Because in Rocky, he had hairy armpits.
Yes, Rocky 2. I know in Rocky 2, for sure, in Rocky 2, he had hair.
And then at some point where it's like, no, we gotta shave
Well,
those off.
after Rocky 2, that was when Stallone really established himself as like the real deal, and he got a bunch of plastic surgery done on himself.
How dare
Say
you?
not so.
How dare you?
Wow.
If you look at
Wash out your mouth.
one of the cool lines in Rocky 3 was when he's at the very beginning of the movie when he's bailing Paulie out of jail. He's like, you're doing real good. You fixed your face up nice. He says, I love that line.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
says that. I'm like, oh man, Stallone he's just
self-aware.
He's self-aware.
Yeah, man. He does some stuff where he just puts it in there. He's like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Which I'm Rocky. What are you going to do about it? Not watch me? This is the best movie ever.
Kirtland says armpit commentary is why I'm here.
That's right. Thanks, son. That's my son. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll move on. So Stallone now has no hair under his armpit. All right. Here we go. So again, I remember seeing this in the theater. Let's just pause.
Oh yes.
There we go.
There we go. Now,
he's built well, right? Look at that.
It's amazing.
The Italian stallion.
If you look that good, it'd be hard not to put yourself in there.
So we were talking about armpit hair. Is everywhere? Is everywhere else?
I'm guessing that he was one of the pioneers of the bleaching down there.
The manscaping.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few things I like about this scene. Number one, have you ever stood in the shower this way?
Oh, frequently.
Okay. All right. Wow, that's impressive. That's quite the pose. Let's look at that. Let's admire that.
That's how you really take in a shower, gentlemen.
We're gonna be pulled off Facebook.
Yeah.
No,
you lean into a shower, right?
I'm just grateful that leg is forward.
Yeah, isn't that fortuitous that his left leg is forward? You know, can you imagine? Okay, so we don't quite see Rocky's Frankenbeans, but I will say that I remember seeing this in the theaters, and this movie, by the way, was the first Rocky film to be rated PG-13.
What?
Yeah, and I think we got it here, folks. We got it here.
If it was paused this long, I think it might have been rated R.
All I can say is this: Sly, if you're watching, bravo, sir.
Yeah. Oh.
Just bravo, man.
Absolutely. Now
That's a pretty. What's the gym?
yeah, so this is the you got showers here. He's showering alone. Drago already had his shower. He's showering somewhere else.
I like how there's a big window by the showers there.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. So we got Rocky taking a shower, and yeah, here we go. All right. All right. Now this is the one and only scene that Tony Burton is in. Mm-hmm. It's really, and again, there's two things.
I think he makes a flash when they're coming off the plane.
So Rocky
Oh,
flash.
right.
Oh, that.
Oh,
the
the other
different type of flash.
You're right. Sorry. This is the only speaking part. I think
These are the only lines he has.
Now, it's too bad. I remember when I saw this in the theater. I remember when I saw this in the theater, and I saw Tony was coming out. There's a few things that was going through my mind right now. I was on board 100% right now because these events are literally taking moments right after the fight. Mm-hmm. So like we're literally seeing Rocky in the shower. We see Tony talking to Rocky, and then we were going to see Adrian talking to Rocky, and it's like, wow, this is really part 5. This is a legitimate sequel. It's like right after the events of Rocky 4, we've got this. And I think that's what really carries this movie in a lot of ways. It's a true continuation of Rocky 4.
That's when I mentioned that Trisha Morrison says, how do you know it's Sly in the shower?
We know it's him.
And my answer is called The Specialist.
Yes, we see him naked in The Specialist, and I assure you that's the same buttocks for The Specialist.
Ryan.
No, I don't know if I know it that well, but... All right, so let's listen to Tony speaking here. Let's turn this up a little bit. So I love that. He's so good. Even in this 3-sentence role, he's so good.
Uh-huh.
And I love how he says, especially for Apollo. And he holds... Now, those trunks have not been washed. Rocky just fought a 15-round battle with Drago in those sweaty shorts. And you got Tony just holding them up in his hand, like especially for Apollo. Now, it's a great sequence, but if you think about how dirty and sweaty and bloody those
there was a lot of blood on there.
Yeah.
They're blood brothers. Anybody speak
Italian? Is that Italian? Leandro Maciel says, "O film e bon se o me fraco desse."
No, o filme o bom se o mais fraco de série. He thinks it's the weakest of the series. Eu falo português, Leandro.
Are you serious? Wait, was that real?
Minha esposa é brasileira. Ela de Goiânia. I speak Portuguese, sort of.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Did you get this guy to...
No one. I thought about telling people I was going to be on a podcast, and I'd be like, I don't want to draw any attention to myself. Everyone would be like, you're going to be on a Rocky podcast. No one cares. Just leave my face.
Wow, well, that's impressive. Let's, we've never had a...
Let's leave on a high note. This is where you just walk out.
Out with
See you guys. It's been awesome. This movie
great.
is the best.
Okay.
Oh, it's armpit hair.
What the... Oh, good catch!
Continuity.
Whoa, Ruben.
Oh my goodness.
Continuity here. How long was that shower?
Wow.
Good catch by Ruben.
Just when I think my Portuguese steals the show,
Yeah.
you go and do this and totally redeem yourself.
When I need them, I'm going to bring this up.
Okay.
Ask for my $5 back.
That is hilarious. He grew armpit hair in that shower. That is amazing.
So I guess we know that he just did it for the show. Like, this is something that he carries on his own.
Oh, I see. So
As a personal, like, as a human being, Sly,
Right.
at least at this stage in his life,
right.
he goes on natural.
Okay, that's a good point. So
So-
I like that. So we know that Sly likes to keep the man hair but for the Rocky IV film, he didn't have the man hair. But yeah, a little bit of continuity error, and that's actually not the worst offender.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started with continuity error. But okay, all right. So we got Carmen. Carmen Bow says she's trying to watch this at work. She might get in trouble, but you know what? Do it anyways. Who cares? Is that sorry? Carmen's the guy. My bad. I didn't see that. Carmen. Not. So am I saying it right? Carmine. My bad.
Hey, Carmine.
Come on. Hey, come on. Where you from? Hey.
Don't forget about your work, okay? Get it done.
Get it done. Deliver the pizza.
He's like, I'm hanging up.
He's hanging up now. He's tired of us. Okay. We might not be worth your...
Yeah, he said he's watched Rocky V 100 times and never caught the armpit hair.
Hey, Ruben. High five. Forget about this guy's Portuguese. Ruben caught the...
We gotta put that in IMDb now.
So this part was really... This is a really dark moment, though. And it's amazing that bong sound that you hear when he says, "Get Adrian," and you see that look on Tony's face. It's a really, like... It gets dark really quickly here. And it continues to get dark. Like, we can see that Rocky is suffering something, that he's feeling something. And this is really cool because in part 8, Creed 2, he says to Adonis, and this doesn't spoil anything for you or anyone else listening, he says that Drago broke things in him that have never been fixed.
Never been fixed.
Yeah, that was in the trailer.
I've seen the trailers.
Yeah. So here we are seeing the beginning of that brokenness right now, that he's damaged.
Mm-hmm.
He's damaged. We're seeing that fresh damage. Father Carmine. So Father Carmine says,
Father Carmine!
"Send me down some blessing for me and Tommy over here." All right. So Tony leaves to go get Adrian. The press is just outside the door. Boy, the press, eh? They just can't leave well enough alone.
Always like how well soundproof it is between the door.
Yeah, I wish our door over to my left was soundproof. I got my wife at the kitchen doing dishes, so if you hear anything. But look at this! Look at the
Russian
setup here.
ingenuity for you.
Look at the setup here. You got Rocky's. Look at that. Oh, you got Rocky IV's workout jacket here.
Wow.
Did anyone else catch that?
Attention to detail.
Good.
Did you ever catch that?
Good call. Nope, didn't notice that one there.
You got some Russian leaders up here.
So you know who's in charge.
You got a weight scale here. It's probably the laundry bin. Bloody towel. Some medical kits here. Yeah, I've never... That is another catch. Hey, that's my catch.
Yeah. Put
All
that
right.
in IMDb.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
So I like this part, obviously. We got him wearing this necklace. Now, this necklace that he's wearing comes into play later in the film. Did we ever see him wear this necklace in parts 2, 3, and 4? 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the question.
That's a good question.
So he got beat. I know he won, but he got beat.
Right.
Showered.
Right.
Put on the necklace.
He was wearing the necklace in the shower. So he disrobed from his bloody, sweaty clothes.
So that's
Put
not
on
a fashion thing. This is an emotional void being filled.
So he's put. Now we know later in the film that Mickey had given them this cufflink. This is a cufflink.
So this is for you, Mick. You know.
Yeah, and so he's wearing this for comfort, or he's scared, or whatever it is. But I just find it interesting. This comes into play in Rocky V, and we talked about this. You of course, you know the scene. So my question to you, off the top of your head, there's no really wrong answer here. That scene where Mickey gives Rocky the cufflink, did that happen before the first fight with Apollo, or the second fight with Apollo?
I think it was the second fight with Apollo.
What are your reasons?
Because he gives him that speech that he's talking about how Rocky being there gives him the motivation. Because the first time out was kind of like a one-time deal. They sort of they weren't looking past anything.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I always sort of gathered that it was between 1 and 2, because in number 2, there was a break in the training, and then they had to gear up hardcore, and they were very, very serious about winning that fight.
Yeah, I like it. I agree with you as well. It was Super Fight 2 that he gave him that necklace.
Correct.
But it was filmed for Part 5, but the event took place before, like during the Rocky 2 timeline.
Correct.
But I don't think he ever wore it on screen. I don't think.
You know what's interesting? Just off the top of my head, I remember when I was going down the YouTube wormhole. I remember seeing a bit about how they noticed the cufflinks in one of the Rocky movies. I got to go back and take a look at it now that we're talking about it.
You know what it was? It was Apollo was wearing it. Apollo was wearing a boxing glove cufflink in Rocky 2 when he's reading the hate mail. He had one around him.
Interesting. And
there was a theory. Now it doesn't quite work out timeline wise, but this movies don't, because Rocky asked Mickey, who did Rocky Marciano give the other cufflink to, and Mickey says, he gave it to some bum. So there's a theory that he might have given it to Apollo's crew.
Just some bum.
Some bum.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So here we go. We're going to listen to what Rocky has to say to Adrian here.
When Mick said when he was fighting, sometimes he'd fight so hard that he was thinking that he broke something inside and he was going to die. And that's when he said that's when the angels just...
That's brutal. So he's talking about Mickey would say that he got so broken up inside at times during his boxing career that he thought he was going to die, and that's when the angels were pulling on him. So this angel talk comes up later, of course, that Mickey is an angel on Rocky's shoulder. But Rocky at this moment is terrified. He feels like right now that he's about to die. He's so broken inside that he feels like he's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this being like when I saw this in the theaters, I wasn't expecting this.
No.
And I was extremely sad because, like I said before, like I really felt like I had like a relationship with Rocky. Like he was like a brother, I was so into those movies, and to see him in this state, and like Talia Shire, who plays Adrian, she's such a phenomenal actress, and like she does Adrian like no one else could possibly do it. They always had such an excellent chemistry, and you could just see the two of them are just like the story of the two of them is so quintessential in the whole saga, that they're so together, right? And just to see the fear on both of them in this one here, I was so sad in the theater. Like I remember almost crying when I was in there.
Oh yeah, well said, guest Andrew. Ruben,
carry on.
All right.
Stop my hands from shaking.
This part here, ugh.
You never felt this thing. No, I just want to go home.
So this part is brutal, and I remember the hands shaking always sticking with me. That he's can't stop his hands from shaking. Ruben, are you looking up hands shaking by chance?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I thought you were. I thought you were getting ahead of the game there, looking up what.
No, I'm ahead of the game.
He's downloading Taylor Swift songs.
Okay,
right now.
All right, fair enough. That's fair.
Ruben.
Hey, that was awesome.
All right. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said before, like this whole sort of scene, just
It's dark.
yeah, it was really dark. It was totally different, and I really wasn't expecting it. And like what he's about to say now is
Yeah.
like the most like the frightening part.
I'm just tired. I just want to go home, Mick. I'm just tired. I just want to go home, okay?
You know, he's like a child.
Yeah.
You know, he needs someone just to take care of him now.
He is broken. He is broken. I mean, Sly himself, though, his build here is pretty solid. I mean, let's be honest here.
No, he looks awesome.
He looks really good. He's 72 right now, and this movie came out, if you can believe it, 29 years ago. What's 72 minus 29? 43.
38.
43.
20.
Close. 43.
My math is
okay.
So he's
subpar.
He's my age right now in this film.
Why don't you look like that then?
I have no excuses.
Wow.
I have no excuses.
As long as you know you don't.
Okay. So he wants to go home, and he called her Mick. Did you catch that, Rube? He goes, "I want to go home, Mick."
I actually didn't catch that.
Really?
Yeah, that's
That's
the
watch.
I just want to go home, Mick.
Oh, weird.
Oh,
I want to go home.
weird.
I'm just tired. I just want to go home, Mick. I'm just tired.
Weird.
I just want to go home, okay?
You never caught that all this time? I know you haven't seen it 100 times, but that's fine. Now here we go. Here's continuity error, big time. We're about to see Rocky's son, and I remember when I saw this film in the theater, I remember thinking, okay, we just have to suspend disbelief here. But how old do you think Rocky's son was at the end of Rocky 4 when he told to my son who's at home, who's supposed to be sleeping, "I love you, kid"? How old was he there?
he's probably like eight or 9.
8, 9 tops. If you really want to push it, maybe a small 10-year-old. Okay. So you have this Russian flight coming in? Okay. Here we go.
This song never gets old, right?
No.
It's still great.
Okay, 2 things here. We talked about this in Rocky 3. When we did our Rocky 3, you got a lot of episodes to listen to. When we did our
100.
no, he's listened to 1. He's got 99 episodes to listen to. When Rocky 3, remember when the statue was revealed and
Yep.
they had the school band playing
Yep.
there? They were playing the Rocky theme. They're playing this band here, whatever band this is here, some sort of Masonic Lodge band. I don't know what their symbols are on their... they're playing the Rocky theme. I'll think about that for a second. Why does this individual, Rocky Balboa, in this world have a theme? Now, the movie has a theme, but do you have a theme every time? Like, when you walk in a room, does the Andrew theme kick in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Oh, by the way, I do have a song.
Oh, you do have a song?
I do.
What's that?
It's Raining Men?
Oh, the Ruban show. Yeah, Ruben. Now Ruben's going to make me somehow insert on the audio Ruben's song.
I do have a song that was written for me.
So Ruben has a theme song. I don't have a theme song. But the idea that this band, though, Ruben, if you were stepping off a plane, had the Ruben show song ready to go to play for you. Isn't that kind of wild?
It'd be beautiful.
Okay. But you see how that's that meta? Like,
Totally.
we as a member in the audience of the theater, yeah, we get what they're playing. But what would they even know what that is? Them walking out of the plane, they'd be, hey,
Why are they playing it?
They'd be like, hey, that's the same song they played when they gave me the statue.
Oh, Sly. So good with this stuff, right?
Oh, yeah,
Keeps
he's
us
awesome.
questioning.
He's awesome.
Adrian, where's the kid? I don't see the kid. Where's the kid? Ain't he here?
Okay. So right away, we got Rocky.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Go
no,
ahead.
Ruben, go ahead. You've got your theme song?
No,
we're ready.
It's about to come on.
Okay.
But
Put it to the microphone. We got time. This is the Ruben.
all right, it's enough.
No.
Oh, come on. Why are you?
No.
Our guest are Colin and Julie.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
So for our faithful, desperate listeners, if you want to see more of just Ruben, go to YouTube and go to the Ruben Show. Just punch in the Ruben. Is there only one Ruben Show?
Well, there's the Ruben Report.
Oh,
Don't confuse me with the conservative gay pundit.
okay. We won't.
I know the Ruben Report.
Oh really?
I do know him.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm different than him.
Okay, so we got
He has
8-year-old.
an I have an A.
We've got a 9-year-old Rocky Jr. coming out of the crowd. Let's see what a 9-year-old looks like.
Sure.
There is. Hey, Slugger, how you doing? Say hi to your mama with
Hi, Mom.
Oh, then I forgot now.
Hi, Uncle Paulie. Dad, how you feeling?
Well, I got a few new dents. How you doing at school?
I made the honor roll.
You're beautiful, home
Hi,
team.
All right, a lot going on here. So they're very excited to see their 14-year-old son. I guess it's fair to ask how school's going since he hasn't been there for 5 grades. Now, all joking aside, what's happening here to our dear audience is this is Sage Stallone. This is Sylvester Stallone's son in real life. And since Sly thought, and rightfully so, that this was going to be the last Rocky film, he thought it'd be pretty special and pretty neat. And why wouldn't you, I'm speaking as a father myself, to have your own child play your son in your last franchise movie at the time. So that's what's happening here. We just have to suspend disbelief. The kid is 14 because Sage during the filming of this was 14. So we got a 14-year-old kid. That's all there is to it. He's 14. We just move on from that.
I've seen an interview with Sly on this subject.
Oh, please, yeah.
So when you do the time continuity between 2, 3, and 4, each time there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
So between 3 and 4, the son ages dramatically as well, right? And there's like a basically Rocky 3 ends with Apollo and Rocky having their closed door fight against each other, and then Rocky 4 goes straight into Rocky 4 right after that, and the son is in Rocky 3, the son's probably like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
then he jumps to about 8 or 9. So Stallone had an interview I saw a little while back about it, and he's just going like he would make the story based on the previous story with the same themes going on, the same characters, everything, but it would be reflective of what's going on for him at that moment.
Okay, yeah.
And so there would be a little of this, and he just sort of thought it was like, that's just the creativity side of it, is where this kind of story, it's impossible for him to remain in continuity because his own physical age is quite evident between, the timeline is just totally off. And so he just said, I just did my best to make it seem relevant to the time the way that I wrote it.
I forgive him.
He's done okay.
I forgive him. But funny enough, in the Rocky universe, in 1976 was actually when he was born, the child, and then funny enough, this is 1990 in the real world. So in a weird kind of matrixy space-time continuum, the child in 1990 would have been 14. But what I find not frustrating, but what they could have done here, and I don't know why they didn't, because this would have taken away our whole talking point. They could have easily just had the plane come in. No child is here. They do the press conference that's about to come up. Everything is happening that's about to come up. And then after the press conference, after the challenge by George Washington Duke and his Union King challenge that comes up, they could have said 4 years later. 4 years later. 5 years later. And then all the events could have still happened. They could still written in how they would have lost their money, lost their house, Rocky's retired. All those things could have still happened. And it would have aged the child. It would have eliminated that issue.
You should be a producer or a writing partner.
Well, Sylvester Stallone, if you're listening to me and you want any of my advice, which I highly doubt he either A, listens, or B, wants my advice, that would have just been a simple fix. It just do this whole press conference without the kid, then just do 5 years later, and then you've got an aged child, and everything else could have continued. They could have lost their money and everything.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't have worked out, right? Like This was like they're fresh off the Drago fight,
right?
And so George Washington Duke wants to capitalize on Balboa's celebrity, right? Like he's a promoter.
I guess you could just you're right. You'd have to. No, he still would have bounced on that, and Rocky would have said, and Adrian would have said, "My husband's retired," and all this, and that could just haunted him 5 years later, especially if they lost all their stuff. And Rocky's like during this time kept strong, maybe working at Mickey's gym. He's still been around it because, as we know in Rocky Balboa, it's not so far fetched. He goes in the ring at an old age, so it could have been something.
In a grudge match.
Yeah, in a grudge match, yeah, which we are going to cover, by the way.
I can't wait.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
Which?
Grudge match.
No, I never saw it.
Oh, it's fun.
It's really fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Here we have Sheila Downs, airport security. Hi. Hi, Sheila. You're doing a great job. Tony, that's one of our last scenes with Tony. There is just beaming. Everyone's just so happy to be reunited with each other.
Sure, yeah.
They're out of Russia. You'd be happy too.
Welcome home. If you follow me, there's a press reception inside.
All right, so I love this. We got this airport hangar here. There's a big press conference going on here. We've got cameras, reporters, everyone's yelling. And it says, "Welcome, champ." And you got Rocky up there, and you got, of course, Paulie sitting next to him, and the kid. And you got these airplanes here. Are you an airplane person? You know what kind of airplanes these are?
No idea.
So I find this weird because this is a big airport. I mean, this was a big airplane that flew in, but they're hanging out in some sort of like gymnasium hangar. I just love how it's this whole kind of like. Why does it have to be inside of a hangar?
I think it was
like that?
at that time that because it was the Soviet Union, is that they didn't have direct flights in there the way that they do in international airports right now. And
Okay.
I think that when you saw Rocky 4, when they landed down, they were in an obscure airport as well. They were
Right.
on like a twin prop engine, an old plane, sort of symbolizing the decrepit decay of the Soviet Empire. And I think that they were just bringing it back in and trying to carry on the same motif, is that they were walking right onto the tarmac.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't in an international airport. They weren't, flying first class. They were roughing it.
Okay.
So I think they were just kind of carrying.
So you don't
it
think
on.
this is like an actual? This could be. It's not a real international airport in like Philadelphia. This is.
I think that it was. If you've ever been to like a big airport, is that they have the international. What do they call them? Where the planes park themselves. The terminals. They have international terminals, but they've got hangars all over the place where different levels of aircraft are flying in and out. So personal aircraft, private charter aircraft. They kind of come in and they don't have to go through the same. They don't have the same kind of passenger. What do they call that again? I don't know. But they've got the passengers are coming and going in a totally different different configuration. So to me, it all makes sense. Like they're kind of coming through. They're getting off the plane. They don't have to go through customs. It was a private charter plane.
It was a simpler time. This was pre 9/11. We're only 11 years away from 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
By the way, Sheila Downs isn't credited on IMDb.
No, that was the name of the character.
I know that.
Oh, sorry.
But the character's on there, and the actress who plays her.
Really? That's weird because Sheila Downs, she had a speaking part. She goes, "I'm
Yeah,
Sheila Downs."
I was looking for her. I wanted to see what else she's been in. I thought
Boy.
this would be a fun tidbit. It turned out she was overlooked.
Okay, we'll have to track her down
Well,
somehow.
oddly enough, there's a woman named Sheila Downs who's married to a fighter.
Interesting. Does that look anything like her? All right.
100%.
So we got Michael Watson. Nobody's going to get mangles. Not sure what that means. Can you explain? Am I missing something? No one's going to get mangles? All right, Michael, if you don't mind explaining yourself, that'd be great. Maybe we're just slow on that. Do you know what that might mean?
Maybe he's trying to say nobody's going to get mangled. Did he put an S instead of a D?
Maybe. Maybe. Is that Portuguese?
No.
All right.
How do you feel about the Russian people in general?
Oh, it's very good. They was great people. I mean, I didn't understand what they were speaking all the time, but I think I understood what they was meaning.
So, of course, the first question is, this is a fair question. What do you think of the Russians out there? How do they? And he says, well, they treated me fine. I didn't understand what they were saying, but they kind of understood what I was saying. And you got Paulie over here. Look at this. Paulie's got a binoculars in his hand right now.
Those binoculars are the
they're
fake ones.
I think they're a flask. I think that they're a flask. Like, this guy's always just drinking.
No, Paulie's a degenerate alcoholic. I liked him in Rock. I like Paulie in Rocky too because he cleaned himself up. He took over Rocky's collecting. He lost some weight, made some bucks.
Yeah.
He looked really, really good, right? And then in Rocky 3, the beginning, he was just such a eyesore, just a terrible blight on society.
So she gets another question in this reporter. She goes, Mrs. Balboa, did you learn any Russian? So they make it sound like they must have been, what, there, maybe a month or two, right? Like, I think they were there for a little while. Not like, no more than 2 months to probably no less than a month.
But you have to ask something, right?
I guess so. Check out this
Yeah.
guy's face over here.
In my opinion, it's a pretty weak question, right?
Yeah, I agree. Miss Balboa, did you learn any Russian?
Did I learn Russian?
She got fluent in vodka.
Okay, Paulie, you got fluent in vodka.
He was
Oh,
fluent in vodka
That's
already.
Right. That's right.
He just brushed up on his vodka.
But by the way, I think it was Cindy Roberts who asked the question. Shout out to Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Oh. So Michael was saying it's a joke that's later in the movie. That's right. Rocky doesn't know what mangled means. So Robert says, great, I'm going to get mangled at school. And Rocky says that. That's right. All right, I totally remember that part. Michael, we apologize. We're not getting there today. That's for sure, to that scene. But I totally remember the scene you're talking about. Our apologies. Hey, Tracy, what's going on? We're just talking Rocky 5. That's all we're doing. All right. So, well, check that out. So, Paulie makes a crack about Adrian getting fluent in vodka, and she loves it. I've forgotten how much she loved that joke.
Time, but I think I understood what that was meaning.
Mrs. Balboa, did you learn any Russian?
Did I learn Russian?
She got fluent in vodka.
Hey, you Paulie.
So she's just happy right now because...
I think I understood what that was meaning. You know?
That was a beautiful medical association.
There's right.
Those Russian?
She got fluent in
Sorry,
vodka.
guys. She's very happy. Okay, so here we go. Rocky, there are rumors of physical complications after the fight. So even back then, even before the internet, there was people got word that there was something going on. People at the camp were leaking rumors about Rocky's condition.
They were talking when they shouldn't have been talking.
It's Rob Lowe's unfamous brother.
Yeah.
There are rumors of physical complications after the fight.
Complication?
No, those were rumors. He's in perfect physical condition.
Now, we know what happens later in this movie, but that line's really interesting because Rocky is messed up, and Adrian knows this. What is she protecting? Because she has no intention of him ever. They already know that he's about to announce his retirement. Okay, she knows this. Is it so important for him to announce his retirement that he's fit as a fiddle?
Everybody's spouse at one point or another has said, "Oh, my spouse is just fine."
Okay.
I think it's just a very protective
Yeah.
mama bear, right?
Yeah.
And this is a really interesting cut right here because we see Rocky Jr. looking at his dad like, really? He hasn't heard this before. So he actually looks a little concerned.
Oh, maybe she was being protective to the son.
Oh. There you go. She wasn't speaking to the reporter. She was speaking to her son, who's not heard anything like this right now. So he's looking at his dad like, is everything okay? Good catch, brother. Boy, armpit hair in this. Boy, you're on fire this season 5.
Wow.
Ruben.
What can I say?
Off to-
Impressive.
Off to a strong start.
Question. Recently, the American Medical Association recommended that boxing be banned.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the doctors?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the doctor should never fight,
That's a great line.
Michael, that's the funniest line. Michael Watson said the vodka line is the funniest.
Okay. Yeah, Michael was funny. That was a good line too. The joke about boxers should never fight. This is classic Rocky or Stallone writing about Rocky. Rocky with his comebacks. He just really embraces this Rocky character, doesn't he? He just once he puts on that jacket or the hat, he just becomes Rocky.
What other movie did he wear the aviators in? The Dark Ages?
Cobra.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which was about 5 years previous to this film. He was still married to Birgit Nielsen during that time. She was beautiful.
That was a beautiful answer,
Oh, here we go.
That's right. Doctors should stay out of the ring. Doctors should never fight.
So we got Don King. Everybody, Don King has entered the film. So obviously we know George Washington Duke is portraying a Don King type character. And I've tried to reach out to the actor that plays George Washington Duke. I'm going to be a little bit more, try a little bit harder because I really would love to get him on the show. I think he's well loved by Rocky fans. Like, he plays this promoter guy very well. Like, I mean, the way he just gets under Rocky's skin, the way he gets under Adrian's skin, the way he corrupts Tommy. He is a great character, a very great character.
A good heel.
That's what we're
He's
thinking.
super good heel.
He should stay out of the ring forever.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa, the funniest champion ever. America's own Rocky Balboa. How are you? How are you? George Washington Duke here, promoter extraordinaire. Welcoming back Rocky Balboa, champion of all the Americans and all the Russians.
I love that. Champion of all the Americans and all the Russians. I don't know why that always kills me. I don't know. Just the Americans and Russians.
Now, I'd like to digress from the questions a bit and pose an interesting proposition to the media. Everyone in the city, certainly in the world of sports, knows my reputation for promoting some of the finest extravaganzas in this country.
I love how he totally, what do you call it?
Just took over.
He
takes over
hijacks this whole press
hijack,
conference.
yeah.
hijacks the press conference, and I love his pink microphone.
I think it's more of a lavender purple.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, lavender.
With the press present,
Yes, lavender.
I'd like to ask you, Rocky Balboa, to be the flamboyant, rambunctious spokesman we know you can be, and get this man here, Union Kane, a chance to challenge you for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Now, this is great. This whole sequence is great. He's got his arm around Rocky. Rocky's like, he's too nice to just shrug it off, you know? But he's like, he kind of does this look. And whoever plays Union King, bless his heart, but he's not very good. Union King, the actor, is not very good.
You pulling that up, Ruben?
No. I
Still on Taylor Swift over there?
Still on Taylor Swift.
There we go.
Balboa, I want the opportunity to take what you got.
I want the opportunity to take what you got.
Maybe that's what he's playing. He's playing. Maybe,
No,
he played it beautifully.
Yeah, I think he did play it beautifully.
Okay.
And I think they're putting a lunkhead in there.
that's a good word. He is a lunkhead. He's just.
I think he played it beautifully. Yeah, I think he did
Well,
play it beautifully.
Oh wow,
a
really?
little technical there.
Isn't this bad timing to present a challenger, Duke? The man just got off the plane.
Timing is the essence of life, gentlemen and ladies.
Timing is the essence of life, gentlemen and ladies. This guy, he's a character.
I love his tie. The tie is just classic.
I never noticed that tie.
Now, what I have on this paper is the largest guarantee ever offered to a champion on this planet.
So right now he's already talking money. He's got in his hand a lot of money on the line, and we don't know what the amount is. Right now at this moment though, Rocky has a lot of money. They think in their head they have lots of money. And no, what's better than lots of money? More
money.
Lots of money. But they've never been driven by money, the Balboas, and they already have a lot. So this isn't really going to twist his arm. And you can see right here, he's already like, this is irritating, frustrating. But look at Paulie over here. He's already licking his lips with greed. He hears about the money, and he's just like, I'm good to go.
I'm talking about a fantastic international extravaganza to be held in Japan called Letting It Go in Tokyo. People, ain't it incredible that only in America could people like us rise from oppression, rise from poverty, to join hands in this international event. Only in America.
So before we end with Adrian's speech here, this guy, he's just a character. He's already got the time and place. It's gonna take place in Tokyo for whatever reason.
Sure.
I don't know why, but that's where it's taking place.
I think that he started off with trying to figure out what the tagline was going to be, and then they just chose something that sounded good. I gotta say, Letting It Go in Tokyo,
that's a good
I'd
idea.
watch it. I'd be like, I'll pay pay-per-view
Let
for
it
that.
go in Tokyo. I love that.
I would never come up with it.
No. They said, look, I want you to make a tagline or something with Tokyo in the line. Would you ever come up with Letting It Go in
No.
Tokyo?
Probably like talk about noodles or something.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my husband is retired. He has nothing more to do.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. We've reached the hour mark of the show, and we'll continue. There's more to talk about. Of course, there's a whole movie to talk about, but I think it's good cliffhanger. It's a good cliffhanger to end on.
Good, another deep cut Sly movie there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Cliffhanger is such a deep cut for a Sly movie. But, so Adrian has just announced to the world and to the press that Rocky is retired. And we'll see what the aftermath of all that is about and what that means to the Balboas and to this challenge by Union King for Letting It Go in Tokyo.
Looks like Jay Farrow was there from SNL. I don't know if you know who Jay Farrow is.
Actually, no, that looks like Dave Chappelle.
He looks like Dave Chappelle.
All right, well,
I'm just saying. We got who else do we
That
have?
guy looks like Howling Mad Murdoch
a
from
little
the
bit,
A-Team.
Yeah. Look how angry he is about this retirement.
He's really mad.
He's got some questions.
This guy looks like he's a backup guitarist for the band Toto.
I think
Looks like he tried to audition for Kramer.
This guy here, though. This guy here. Come on.
This guy,
bangs like
this
that
guy,
in the
he looks
front.
like nobody important.
I love it. I love it. I love the extras in a crowd. They're hilarious. This is great. Okay, well, that ends the opener of Season 5, Rocky 5, Episode 101. I think it went pretty well. I think we did all right. I think we got an adventure ahead of us. There's still another hour and 35 minutes to talk about in this film, so we got a few more episodes to talk about.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. I had no idea what to expect, but it exceeded.
But you came.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Wow. Well, we didn't offer you the world, but
He did miss his son's birthday. But
yeah, that's right.
There's plenty more where that came from. You know what I mean?
Optimistic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. It was good
Thank
having
you
you here.
guys very much, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Ding ding. All right, we're still live?
I don't know. We might be. Stop streaming.
That's when we're still live, but we think we're off. That's when we say all the inappropriate things.
That's right.
And then they nail you on it later.
So, are we done?
Purveyors of Rocky podcast have been exposed as culturally
Yeah, we stopped
inappropriate.
streaming. I think we have.
Well,
Are we still going?
I think this is one of those funny things on the internet. It was like, we're off?
We off? We done? We off?
Check one. Check one.
Are we
Check
off?
one. Check one.
Is this like Frozen now? All right.
Like the movie Frozen? I hope not. I hate that song.
Just let it go.
It's not stopping. Stop. It's not even letting me exit. This program's frozen. Okay, well, we're just going to restart my computer. That's going to stop the streaming. Because it already stopped recording. So, bye, everybody. Yeah, it's funny.
So the reason I started looking at there at the end